Man, times really don't change after all. Now this is the Sega Game Gear. It was a handheld released by Sega in 1991. Now, the only other competitors at the time were the Game Boy and the Atari Lynx. Now, the Game Boy was known for only being in black and white, but this actually had color going for it, and it was basically yeah. But there's actually a bit more to say about this. It was unfortunately nowhere near successful as the Nintendo Game Boy. This only sold about like 11 million units, and the Game Boy sold over like 100 million. So, but it did sell more than the Atari Lynx. It was way more expensive than a Game Boy. Like I think $150. Game Boy was like $90, and the Atari Lynx was actually more expensive. But you know, the Atari Lynx and each like system is about as powerful as they were kind of priced. Like the Game Boy was the weakest. This was in between. The Atari Lynx was the most powerful. However, at the time, this was maybe arguably kind of impressive because this is, although not only was it in color, but it was also the same. It was also about like the same hardware as the Sega Master System. Now it was not Sega's most current system at the time, but still, just the fact that it rivaled their previous system in power was quite the feat for the time. Unfortunately, all this power does kind of reflect the actual design, and that's also the biggest problem with this thing. Now, I mean, as you can see, this is huge. Like, I don't have my Game Boy with me, but like, it's like, this is like 40% bigger like than the Game Boy, and it's also infamous because it took about 6 AA batteries, and it could infamously drain in about 2 hours. Now, this is, like I said, my Majesco re-release of the system. This has some slightly better specs. First off, it actually has a backlit screen, like you can actually play this in the dark and see the screen. But secondly, although it still takes 6 AA batteries, it'll still drain them. It'll only drain in about 5 hours, which, well, not great. It's a lot better. Heck, it's better than the Switch, actually, but yeah. So, what else was I going to say? There was also a power supply that you could plug into this thing. And another thing with the Majesco Game Gears is that they also age a lot better. Sega Game Gears are kind of notorious for aging terribly, like particularly their sound would stop working, and sometimes even their videos weren't displayed. There's also a link cable. I don't really know any game that uses it, but I'm sure there's probably some. No, wait, yeah, Sonic Drift 1 and 2 used it, but there's also a headphone jack. And even if you're using an older Game Gear and it has a busted speaker, this will still work. So if you are looking at a Game Gear and you don't have like any sound coming out of it, again, this is still an option. But this is also where this is what a game cartridge looks like, and this is where they load in. This is Sonic Chaos, but well, first off, these are some of my other Game Gear games. The boxes are out of cardboard or paper boxes, but like a lot of them, they're kind of hard to come by because, you know, people usually just threw them away back then. But however, they're not always impossible to find. But usually if you find these, you're going to find one of the Majesco re-releases. Usually, not only do they have not only would they say assemble in Mexico, but they also would, the spines or color here would actually be more pinkish. An actual Sega produced one back in the day would be a bit more reddish. But so if you usually find a box, you're usually going to find a Majesco release. But yeah, these are some of my games here. I have more, but I just don't have them with me right now. This is Sonic 1. This is The Lion King. Both are pretty good games. But so anyway, let's actually get into the gameplay portion here. Right. I actually pulled the cartridge out, which made this a little... I don't know if you can see this. Unfortunately, there is glare issues, so actually, give me a sec. You'll see it's a little better now. So this is kind of like the Sega Genesis game, but it's not necessarily like, it's not really about speed in this game. I mean, there is some speed in this game, but it's more of a platforming game, if anything. It's even possible to outrun the screen. Okay, I couldn't do it there, but I mean, right here we get some speed, but yeah, it's more of a platforming game. It's actually one of the Game Gear's best games. And look at that, I get to go to the bonus stage. So yeah, this is a pretty solid game for the Game Gear. Okay, unfortunately that's what a lot of people remember for the Game Gear is all the Sonic games. I mean, not necessarily the library is terrible, but I mean, again, it's really just only the Sonic games that get remembered, and you can find a lot of these. In fact, you can find all of them if you buy Sonic Mega Collection Plus and Sonic Gems Collection. That gives you all the Game Gear games, even some of the ones that were only released in Japan, like Sonic Drift or Tails Sky Patrol. But you can also pick them up on the 3DS eShop. I'm not sure if they're all available, but I do know Sonic 1, Chaos, Triple Trouble, Drift 2, and Tails Adventures, and Sonic Blast. All those you can get on the 3DS eShop. That's assuming if you care about the 3DS at this point, but so yeah, but I mean, Game Gears are still kind of cool to collect. I mean, if you're a game collector, I would actually highly recommend you seek one out, because they're actually kind of cool devices. So anyway, that was another edition of Gaming Stuff. I'll see you guys next time. The reason why I said that times never change at the beginning of this video is that it's actually the third time I looked at the Majesco Game Gear. The first two were on my old channel, Jake Koner. The first one I took down like years ago. The second one's still on my channel and it's actually the most viewed video on my channel. And this is my third one, so I thank you guys for watching.